Have you ever heard someone say, I feel like someone's watching me, and then you just brush it off like maybe they're overthinking? But what if they were right? Because just days before she vanished, 23-year-old Philadelphia woman Kada Scott told friends she was getting harassing calls. She felt unsettled. She felt something was wrong. And then she disappeared. No trace. No phone activity. No goodbye. Just silence. And trust me, what happened next will shake you. Intro: personal conversational tone. Hey everyone, today's story is one that honestly hit me. This isn't just another missing person case. It's about a young woman doing everything right, working an honest job, taking care of seniors on an overnight shift, and then suddenly she's gone. Her car still parked outside her workplace. Her phone completely silent. Her family desperate, terrified, and begging for answers. And you know that feeling when your stomach sinks because the silence feels a little too heavy. Yeah, this case has that feeling all over it. Today, we're walking through the timeline, the red flags, the moment police knocked on doors, and the discovery that left an entire community heartbroken. So buckle in and listen closely, because sometimes the truth doesn't just hurt. It chills you. Beginning of story build-up. October 4th, 2025. A Saturday night shift at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, an assisted living facility in Philadelphia. You clock in, you sigh, it's late, it's quiet, same routine. People expect you to go home in the morning, but you don't. That night, Kada showed up to work like normal. She texted, she talked to loved ones, nothing seemed off, at least not yet. And then suddenly communication stopped. No calls. No messages. No social media. Nothing. Imagine waking up and realizing the last time anyone heard from her was while she was inside her workplace. Her car still parked outside. Like she just vanished into thin air. Her family began calling, no answer. Hours passed, panic set in. You know how families say, this isn't like her. Yeah, that was the first red alarm. But here, where it gets even more unsettling. Before she disappeared, Kada told people someone was harassing her over the phone. Calling repeatedly. Making her uncomfortable. Someone who didn't want to leave her alone. And now she's missing. Coincidence? Or the warning sign nobody was able to stop in time? We're not even to the darkest part yet, stick with me. Because the moment investigators dug deeper, they found a lead. Not just any lead, a person. A name. And that's when everything changed. So now the clock is ticking. A young woman gone without a trace. And police begin digging into every minute of that night. At first, investigators did what they always do, the basics. Phone ping. Nothing. Digital activity. Silent. Security footage. Reviewing every frame. But there was something about this case that immediately felt different. Something darker. That someone did this, energy, you know. Her family wasn't just worried. They were terrified. Because Kada didn't just walk away from her life. She loved her family, she was close to her mom, she had goals, friends, routines. Vanishing wasn't in her story until that night. And remember those harassing phone calls she'd mentioned before she disappeared. Yeah, that was the thread that investigators couldn't ignore. You don't get random harassment right before you vanish. That's not just noise, that's a signal. And trust me, the more detectives looked into it, the louder that signal became. As detectives traced her final hours, they found her car untouched. Keys still inside the building. Purse still at work. Phone dead, like it was shut off on purpose. Imagine being her loved ones. Waking up, calling her phone, thinking, maybe she overslept, maybe she's tired. And then hour after hour passes and you realize, no, something happened. Police canvassed her workplace, combed through surveillance, traced movements. And then a name emerges. Keon King. Not a random stranger. Not a ghost. A real person tied to her life and now, possibly tied to her disappearance. And this is the moment where your heart drops a little, right? Because when police start focusing on one name early, it usually means something isn't adding up. Once that name surfaced, detectives moved fast. Phone records, location data, witness interviews. They weren't treating this like someone who just left. They were treating it like a crime. And here where the chills hit. Police described King as a person of interest. Someone who might know more than he was saying. Someone whose story, timeline, and actions weren't matching reality. Then the searches intensified. Canines, community volunteers, social media alerts. The city started waking up to her story, help find Kada. Flyers everywhere. Posts shared thousands of times. People showing up with flashlights, searching wooded areas and abandoned spaces. It was hope mixed with fear. Faith mixed with dread. Because deep down, everyone felt it. Something terrible may have happened. And then, something big breaks. Police move in. An arrest is made. The person tied to those harassing calls, the person linked to her disappearance, is finally in custody. But here's the part that makes your stomach twist. Even with him arrested, Kada still hasn't been found. Not yet. And the truth, the real truth, is about to surface. And let me tell you, when it does, it's heartbreaking. So now we reach that point in the story where hope is still alive, barely, but every hour feels heavier than the last. Police have someone in custody, Keon King, just 21 years old. The community hears the news and thinks, okay, maybe he'll talk, maybe she's still alive somewhere. You know that feeling, right? When you try to force optimism, even though your heart is slowly preparing for the worst. At first, King isn't charged with murder, just kidnapping and related offenses. That alone tells you something. Police believed Kada didn't walk away. They believe someone took her. And if someone takes you, time becomes your enemy. While King sits in custody, detectives keep working. They start pulling cell phone data, and guess what? Ping records don't lie. Technology doesn't panic or forget or misremember. And slowly a digital trail forms, linking King's movements to areas that suddenly matter a whole lot. Security footage, reviewed frame by frame. Witness statements, double-checked. Phone ties, solidifying like concrete. It's like this story is being stitched together, thread by painful thread. And while police track data, volunteers, family, friends, they're out searching fields, parks, woods, holding candles at vigils, praying, begging for a miracle. If you've ever waited for news like that, you know it's torture. Some nights feel loud with fear. Others feel painfully quiet. Then, mid-October, police get a call. A grim one. Human remains have been found behind an abandoned school in the Germantown area of Philadelphia. A shallow grave. Hidden but not well enough to stay secret forever. And when investigators arrive, the air changes. There's this silence, the kind that feels heavy, like the world pauses to exhale. DNA testing begins. Nobody wants to say it yet. Because once you say it, it becomes real. But deep down, everyone knows. You don't bury someone like that unless you already stole their future. And then, the result. The remains found are believed to be Kada Scott, a young woman who went to work one night and never came home. Let that sink in. She wasn't lost. She wasn't confused. She didn't run away. She was taken. And someone chose violence. The moment authorities get confirmation, everything changes. Keon King is now charged with murder. Not suspicion. Not speculation. Murder. Along with abuse of a corpse, robbery, theft, and evidence tampering. And here where chills return. Investigators say there may be other people involved. Someone helped. Or someone knew. Someone isn't talking yet. Because cases like this, they don't always end with one suspect. In that moment, hope turns into heartbreak. A family loses their daughter. A city mourns a young woman who deserved so much more. And the story shifts from where is Kada to why was this done to her? And trust me, the unanswered questions, they're about to get even harder. So here we are, the moment nobody wanted to reach. The search is over. And a family is left holding memories instead of their daughter. When news broke that Kada's remains were found, you could feel the air leave the room even through a screen. Her mother, her family, her friends, you could see the pain in their faces. It wasn't just sadness. It was shock and disbelief that how could someone do this kind of heartbreak. And honestly, you don't just lose a person in moments like this. You lose plans, dreams, family dinners, phone calls that should have happened, laughs that never will again. A city mourned her. Vigils lit up the night sky in Philadelphia, candles flickering, people holding signs, crying, hugging each other. Because Kada wasn't just a headline. She was loved, a daughter, a friend, a caretaker. Someone who worked nights to take care of other people's grandparents. That's who she was. Warm, soft-spoken, determined. Just 23 years old, still building her life. And then, someone decided she didn't get to keep it. Yes, an arrest was made. Yes, murder charges are filed. But justice is a long road, and this case, it's not finished. Investigators believe others may have been involved. Or at least someone else knows more. And that's the part that keeps you awake a little longer at night. Because cases like this don't just end when one person goes to jail. There are still questions echoing in the silence. Why was she targeted? Who was calling her? Was this planned? Could this have been prevented? Did anyone else help or hide the truth? And honestly, until every answer comes out, it's hard to breathe fully. Let's talk real for a second, not as a storyteller, but as a human being watching this unfold. When someone says they're being harassed, believe them. Take it seriously. Watch their back. Call, check in, walk them places, tell someone. Because sometimes those warnings, they aren't paranoia. They're survival instincts. And it breaks my heart that Kata's fear was real, and her danger was ignored by the universe. People always say, she didn't deserve this. And yeah, that's true. But more than that, she deserved protection, she deserved life, she deserved to come home. So tonight, hug someone tighter. Answer that call. Listen when someone says, I'm scared. Because you never know what storm they're standing in. Kada, we speak your name. We remember you. And we wait for full justice, every person, every truth, every answer. If you care about stories like this, if you believe in justice and protecting each other and shining light on the truth, stay with me here. We're telling real stories. Human stories. Stories that deserve to be heard. And if you found this story important, heartbreaking, or eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe. Because more stories like this are coming your way. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's next.